Hello and good afternoon everyone. I hope you all are good at your homes. Today we are going to see Standard 10th Science 2 Lesson number 2, that is Life Processes in Living Organisms Part 1. Now before going to the life processes section, first we'll recall some of the things. See, how are the foodstuffs and their nutrient contents useful for the body? Now see the foodstuffs that we eat that are digested and converted into soluble nutrients. First, they are not soluble, so it is digested and then converted into soluble nutrients. Now, these nutrients, they are carried by blood to every cell of the body. The oxygen inhaled at the time of respiration is also carried to every cell of the body. Now see, the nutrients which we get from the food, that is absorbed into the blood, and at the same time what oxygen we are breathing, even that is absorbed into the blood. Now in the blood, in the body cells, this oxygen carries out oxidation of nutrients and thus energy is produced. The energy helps the body to carry out all its functions. The nutrients help in the growth and development of the body. Now this oxygen which is there, it carries out the processes of oxidation of those nutrients, and when oxidation of nutrients takes place, energy is released, and that energy is used for the entire functioning of the body. And you see these nutrients, that is why the functioning is carried out properly and it helps in the growth and development of the body. So this is how the foodstuffs and their nutrients contents are useful for the body. Now next we will see what is the importance of balanced diet for the body. Now balanced diet, what it will have, what you are eating every day, chapatis, maybe rice, dal, you are getting something from them, or vegetables. So we have carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, etc. So in the right proportion, that you should get in the right proportion. What? The carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. If you are getting it in the right proportion, then you are having a balanced diet. Now further, each nutrient carries, now all these nutrients, they have some or the other functions. Now in balanced diet, all these nutrients are in right proportion. So if you take it in right proportion, it is a balanced diet. Since balanced diet is required for energy and nutrition, it is very important to maintain our health. So it is very important for the nutrition purpose and for our health to keep it in a proper way, sound health. We should get sound health. So in that way, the balanced diet plays very important role. Next we have which different functions are performed by muscles in the body. Now there are three types of muscles in a body: the voluntary muscles, involuntary muscles and the cardiac muscles. Now the voluntary muscles, they bring the movement according to our will. If we want to move our hand, we can move on our own. Now that is a voluntary movement because we are doing on our own. Involuntary movement, where it happens on its own, there we can't stop or we can't start it again. Now for example, involuntary muscles bring about all the vital activities of the body. The visceral organs which are there inside the body, those are functioning. Now they are functioning, we cannot stop. The movement of the hand we can stop, correct? So that muscles, it is voluntary muscle. But inside our body, what organs are working? The visceral organs, they have the involuntary muscles. And the third one is the cardiac muscles. These are very important for the movement of the heart. So carbohydrates and proteins. So what are stored in the muscles? Carbohydrates and proteins are stored in the muscles. Now we'll see what is the importance of digestive juices in digestive systems. So digestive juices contain different enzymes. So different enzymes are there in digestive juices. Now enzymes means proteins only. Now enzymes, they act as a catalyst and bring about the chemical reaction at a faster pace. Faster pace means at a higher rate. It will happen quickly. So catalyst, its function is to increase the rate of the reaction without getting involved in it. It will just increase the rate of reaction and it will not react. So the digestive juices of the stomach make pH of digestive tract acidic, while that of the intestinal makes it alkaline. So for the digestive tract it is making acidic, for the intestinal tract the enzymes it will make alkaline. So which system is in action for removal of waste materials produced in the human body? That you all know, that is kidney is involved in that, that is the excretory system. Excretory system helps in the removal of nitrogenous waste materials produced in the bodies, where kidney plays the important role. It is involved in the excretory system. Now, what is the role of circulatory system in energy production? Now, due to circulatory system, glucose from the new digestive system and oxygen from the respiratory system is transported to every cell. That is the circulatory system, where glucose from the digestive system means the nutrients what you are eating, you are getting nutrients, as I said earlier, from there it is absorbed into the blood, and the oxygen from there it is absorbed into the blood. So this is all the circulatory system. Now red blood cells carry the oxygen as the blood is pumped by the heart. So red blood cells, it is there, oxygen is there in the blood, so as the blood is pumped to various parts of the body, so oxygen is also transported over there. So in every cell, with the help of oxygen, glucose molecule, they yield the energy by the process of oxidation. So in every cell, oxidation of glucose takes place and energy is released, that we'll see further, in the form of ATP molecules, and that energy we use whenever it is required. Now, how are the various processes occurring in human body controlled? In how many ways? Now, the nervous system and the endocrine system brings about the control by nervous and chemical coordination in the body. Now, nervous system is related to the nerves. Now, endocrine system is the glands which are there, the hormones which they produce. Now, they are responsible for the chemical coordination. Now, due to such coordination, different functions of the body are carried out in sequential and controlled manner. So, because of all this, the processes of the body, they are carried out in controlled and sequential manner. Now, we will see the living organisms and life processes. Now, see, various organ systems are continuously performing their functions in the body. Now, various organ systems, like organs, we have stomach, we have intestine, for the digestion purpose, we have kidney for the excretory system purpose, then we have the heart which is pumping the blood and oxygen to various parts of the body. So various organ systems are continuously performing their functions in the human body, along with various systems like digestive, respiratory, circulatory, excretory and control systems. Different internal and external organs are performing their functions independently but through a complete coordination. This overall system is in action in more or less the same way in all organisms. So all these organs, they are working together, and they like coordinate, they form a coordination and they do their work, and it is same in all kinds of organisms. Now those are in need of continuous source of energy for this purpose. Carbohydrates, fats and lipids. Fats and lipids are the main source of this energy, and it is harvested by the mitochondria present in the cell. So where it is harvested by the mitochondria, but which is the main source, what from where we get? It is carbohydrates, lipids and fats. It is not like that foodstuff is sufficient for energy production, but oxygen is also necessary. Now see, it is not necessary that only foodstuff you require. You require oxygen also, because the nutrients that you get from the foodstuffs, further they need to oxidize to get the ATP molecules, that are the energy molecules. So for that you require oxygen. So your oxygen is also very important. All these, that is foodstuffs and oxygens, they are transported up to the cell via circulatory system, as I said earlier. So because of this circulatory system, the nutrients, the foodstuffs, the nutrients that you get from the foodstuffs and the oxygen, it is transported to the cell. Besides, it is coordinated by the control system of the body. Each life process contributes in its own way in the process of energy production. Functioning of all these life processes also require energy. So every process requires energy. Now human and other animals consume the fruits and vegetables. Humans, we consume fruits, vegetables, Now plants are autotrophs. Autotroph means they can prepare their own food. How do they prepare their own food? By the process of photosynthesis. Now photosynthesis is the process in which plants, they take in carbon dioxide, and in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll they form glucose and give out oxygen and water molecules. Now they utilize some of the food for themselves, whereas remaining is stored in the various parts like fruit, leaves, stem, roots, etc. So plants, they prepare their own food. Now they will utilize some of the food for themselves, and the remaining they keep as a storage, where they keep it in the fruits, leaves, stem, roots, etc. All these places they keep the storage. We consume all these various plant materials and obtain different nutrients like carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, etc. So we all consume these plant materials, and what we get from that? So we get from that carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Which food materials do we consume to obtain these nutrients? Now, we obtain carbohydrates. Now, from where you will obtain carbohydrates? From milk. If you drink milk, you will get carbohydrates. Jaggery, fruits, cane sugar, vegetables, potatoes, sweet meals and cereals like wheat, maize, ragi, jawar, millet, rice, etc. So, all these things, they contain carbohydrates. Now we get 4 kilocalories energy per gram of carbohydrates. So from carbohydrates we get 4 kilocal energy per gram. So let us see how we get that. Now also many players are seen consuming some foodstuff during the break of the game so that they will get some energy. Now we'll see. We had done this in the previous standards, where what is respiration and how does it occur. So what we inhale, the breathing of oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Now see here, the release of energy from the assimilated food, the whatever food is assimilated in our body, the release of energy is called respiration. There we release energy and give out CO2. So here inhalation and exhalation is called breathing. So when we inhale and exhale, we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. So this process is known as breathing. Now when inhalation is done, air enters the lungs. It will enter the lung from our nose through our nasal tract. It will enter our lungs. The oxygen from the air enters the blood, while the carbon dioxide from the blood exits from the blood. So carbon dioxide will exit and oxygen will be inhaled. Through exhalation, CO2 is given out. When we exhale, CO2 is given out. When we inhale, oxygen is taken in. This gaseous exchange occurs through alveolar membrane. This is called external respiration. Now alveolar membranes, they are present in the lungs. From there CO2 is given out. Now and the exchange, both the gaseous exchange that takes place in the alveolar membrane, and this is called external respiration. Now the RBCs carry oxygen to every cell. As I said earlier, that even the oxygen is transported through the blood, that is the RBCs. So here inside the mitochondria, tissue respiration or internal respiration takes place. So the oxygen is used for the production of energy. By oxidation of food nutrients, energy is released in the form of ATP. So this is internal respiration which takes place in the mitochondria, where oxidation of nutrients takes place. Now nutrients that we get from the foodstuffs, the oxidation takes place and energy is released out in the form of ATP. And that energy we utilize for the various functioning of our bodies. Now in living organisms, respiration occurs at two levels as the body and the cellular level. Oxygen, carbon dioxide are exchanged as we seen earlier. Oxygen and carbon dioxide which is exchanged in and out, that is between the body and the surrounding. And in case of respiration at the body level. So at the case of body level means what? The external respiration, that is you will inhale oxygen and you will give out carbon dioxide. In case of respiration at cellular level, as I told earlier, the foodstuff they are oxidized and energy is released along with CO2. Now, how many atoms of CHO are present in the molecule of glucose? Now that you must be knowing. Now glucose is what? C6H12O6. So how many atoms of CH and O? So see, there are 6 atoms of carbon, 12 atoms of hydrogen and 6 atoms of oxygen present in one molecule of glucose. Now which type of bonds are present between all these atoms? They are covalent bonds are present. In the term of chemistry, what happens when a molecule is oxidized? So oxidized means what? Oxidized means to get oxygen. That is one concept where oxygen is taken in. That is known as oxidation. And another process is when it loses electrons. That is also known as oxidation in chemistry. Now further we will see carbohydrates of the food that we consume every day are mainly utilized for the production of energy required for daily need. So which is the main need for the energy requirement? That is carbohydrates. And we had seen carbohydrates what we get from many of the things that we get from milk, jaggery, from the cereals, wheat, grain, jawar. From everything we get carbohydrates. Now further if you see, the energy is obtained in the form of ATP. For this purpose, glucose, a type of carbohydrate, is oxidized step by step in the cells. So the energy we are getting is in the form of ATP molecules, and from where we will get? By oxidation of carbohydrates. But in that also, glucose, which is a type of carbohydrates, it is oxidized step by step and in the cells. This is called as cellular respiration. So in cellular respiration, glucose is oxidized, that is carbohydrate only. It is a type of carbohydrate where it is oxidized with the help of oxygen and energy is given out, that is ATP molecules. Now cellular respiration occurs among the living organisms by two methods. So by two methods cellular respiration takes place in living organisms. Those two methods are aerobic respiration, where oxygen is involved. Aerobic, I told you before, aerobic means you must have studied that in lower standards, in 9th standard also, that aerobic is when there is presence of oxygen. Anaerobic means absence of oxygen. So here oxygen is involved, and anaerobic respiration, oxygen is not involved. In aerobic respiration, glucose is oxidized in 3 steps. So in aerobic oxidation, glucose, it is oxidized in 3 steps. Now the first step here is glycolysis. Now in glycolysis, this is the first step of aerobic respiration. Now here the process of glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm. It occurs in the cytoplasm. Where is cytoplasm? It is in the cell. Now if you consider this as a cell and this is a nucleus over here at the center, so the remaining here, it is the cytoplasm. Here you can see it is a cell organelle, mitochondria. We will require that. So inside the cell, as you know, there is a nucleus and cell organelles are present, like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes. All these are present in the cell. Now chloroplast is also a cell organelle which is present in the plants for preparation of food. Now chloroplast is a site, is a place where photosynthesis takes place in plants, and it is absent in animals. They can't prepare their own food. Now we'll come to glycolysis again. Process of glycolysis occurs in cytoplasm. So where it will take place? In the cytoplasm of the cell. A molecule of glucose is oxidized step by step in this process, and two molecules of each pyruvic acid, ATP, NADH2 and water are formed. Now if you see here this glucose molecule, this we are getting from the foodstuffs what we are eating. From that we are what getting? We are getting carbohydrates. Glucose is the type of carbohydrate that we get from the foodstuffs. So that they bring in to the cell. The circulatory system brings this glucose, the nutrients and the oxygen. So here oxidation of glucose will take place. Oxidation of glucose takes place and two molecules of pyruvic acid is formed. When two molecules of pyruvic acid are formed, in that process ATP, NADH2 and water molecules are also formed, each two molecules. All these three are also formed. So here the first step, remember, from glucose, two molecules of pyruvic acid is formed, and along with it you will get ATP, NADH2 and water molecules also. Now further, molecules of pyruvic acid formed in this process, they are converted into the molecules of acetyl coenzyme A. So see here, this pyruvic acid is then converted into acetyl coenzyme A. So this is an enzyme acetyl coenzyme A. From 2 pyruvic acid, here also you will get 2 molecules of acetyl CO. Now when it is formed, here also NADH2 and CO2 are formed. See, NADH2 is also an energy molecule like ATP. Now further, 2 molecules of CO2 and NADH2 is also released. So you remember this. How you will remember? Process of glycolysis, where it occurs? This is entire thing is cytoplasm. It will occur in cytoplasm. So glucose is oxidized. You will get 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, and in that process of oxidation, ATP, NADH2 and water is given out. Then from pyruvic acid, what is formed? 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A. And when this is formed, in that step also you will get 2 molecules of NADH2 and 2 molecules of CO2 are formed. Now this acetyl coenzyme which is formed over here, this entire process is known as glycolysis. Till the formation of acetyl CoA, this is known as glycolysis. Further, this acetyl coenzyme is then taken into the mitochondria for release of energy. Now this acetyl CoA, where it will go? In the mitochondria, which is known as the powerhouse of the cell. So here it will go inside the mitochondria. So glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm, and the second part, that is tricarboxylic acid cycle, or you can also call it as a Krebs cycle, or you can call it as a citric acid cycle. Now this cycle, it takes place in mitochondria of the cell, which is also known as the powerhouse of the cell. So remember, here these cycles, all these cycles are same only. You can either call it as a tricarboxylic acid cycle, Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. So what happens over here? Both molecules of acetyl CoA enter the mitochondria. See, 2 molecules you are getting, that will enter in the mitochondria. Now, cyclic chain of reactions called as tricarboxylic acid cycle is operated on it in the mitochondria. Some cyclic chain reactions occur in the mitochondria. Acetyl part of acetyl CoA is completely oxidized through this cyclic process, and molecules of CO2, H2O, NADH2 and FADH2 is released. So these 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme will enter into mitochondria. Then a chain of reactions will take place over here. It will get completely oxidized, and during that process what is formed? CO2, H2O, NADH2 and FADH2. these things are formed. So this is known as tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle. I hope you have understood this. So this was the second one. So it was involved in 3 steps. So first was the glycolysis, second was the tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle, or even it is known as citric acid cycle. Now third is electron transport system or electron transfer chain reaction. In this, the molecules of NADH2 and FADH2, what it is formed in the above process, that again go in a chain reaction, and due to this again they go into a chain reaction here, these both, and you will get, due to this, 3 molecules of ATP. See here, 3 molecules of ATP are formed from each molecule of NADH2. So here which are formed NADH2 and FADH2. So in the electron transfer chain reaction, they undergo a chain reactions takes place, and you will get that from each NADH2 molecule you will get 3 molecules of ATP are produced, and from FADH2 each 2 molecules of ATP are produced. So remember this, NADH2, it can come from fill in the blanks also. NADH2, it produces 3 molecules of ATP. 1 molecule of NADH2, 3 molecules of ATP, 1 molecule of FADH2, 2 molecules of ATP. Now, if you see here, now further, besides ATP molecules, water is also formed in this reaction. Water and CO2 is given out. So, electron transfer chain is operated in mitochondria only. Glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm. Glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm, and this whatever cycle, the Krebs cycle or the tricarboxylic acid cycle or citric acid cycle, it takes place in mitochondria only. So always remember, Krebs cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle takes place in mitochondria, glycolysis takes place in cytoplasm. Now further, thus a molecule of glucose is completely oxidized in aerobic respiration, and the molecules of CO2 and H2O are produced along with energy. So after this complete reaction, what you get? ATP. These you are getting, from this you are getting ATP, but along with that you are getting water also and carbon dioxide also after complete oxidation of the glucose molecule. So now if you see NADH2, it is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide over here. So just remember the names. It is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. This is flavin adenine dinucleotide. Now see, both enzymes, they are formed in the cells and are used in the cellular respiration. These are also energy molecules. So these are the enzymes. So they are formed in the cellular respiration. Now we will see about ATP. That is adenosine triphosphate. Now the ATP molecules, what we are getting, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. They are known as energy currency of the cell, because they are like currency. When we need to buy something, we need money, the currency. So when you need energy, you will take ATP as the currency for your body. Now see, adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate is energy rich molecule, and energy is stored in the bonds by which phosphate groups are attached to each other. So if you see the molecule of ATP, you will have the phosphate bonds over there, so energy is stored in that. Now these molecules are stored in the cells as per need. So where are these ATP molecules stored? In the cell only. So as per the need they are utilized. Chemically, ATP is a triphosphate molecule formed from adenosine ribonucleoside. It is formed from adenosine ribonucleoside. It contains a nitrogenous compound adenine, then a pentose sugar. You can see on page number 14 the structure is also given, and 3 phosphate groups. As per the need is derived by breaking the phosphate bond of energy, hence ATP is called as the energy currency of the cell. So when the phosphate bond from the ATP is broken, the energy is released outside, and the ATP becomes then adenosine diphosphate. The ATP, when the bond is broken, one bond is broken, then that time one phosphate molecule is, inorganic phosphate is given out, so the remaining is ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate. Here, if you see on page number 14, it is given, the structure is given over here. I will show you. So I am hoping you have understood this. Now see the glucose molecule which is oxidized, it gives around 38 ATP molecules. So oxidation of glucose molecules, oxidation of glucose will give how much? 38 ATP molecules. Now see here, if you see over here ATP, they have given the structure over here. See, this is known as adenine, which is an adenine phosphate. Now this adenine, here it is connected to a ribose. And here they have the phosphate bonds attached. As you can see over here, now this is the structure of ATP. Now see, it is having a adenosine triphosphate, but see what it is containing over here. It is containing nitrogenous compound adenine. This is the nitrogenous compound adenine, pentose sugar, that is ribose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbons, pentose. So here it is sugar, and here it is having the phosphate bonds here. Now, when the energy is released, see this bond will break over here, energy is released, and you get only this much structure. This is moved away, this is taken off, and energy is released when the bond is broken. So this part, whatever is there, excluding this, that becomes the ADP. That is the adenosine diphosphate. Now see, ATP is known as the energy currency, as I told you earlier. Now further we will see if there is insufficient amount of carbohydrates in the body. Now if there is insufficient amount of carbohydrates, now carbohydrates give glucose, so when for that oxidation and ATP are formed. Now if carbohydrates is not there, then what they will do? Now they will use lipids and proteins which are there in the body for the further oxidation and forming of ATP molecules. So if there is insufficient amount of carbohydrates in body due to exceptional conditions like fasting and hunger, if you are fasting, you have a fast, or you are hungry, now that time your body needs energy, and if you are not getting food for a longer time, so what the body will do, now it will use energy by using lipids and proteins. Are used, lipids or fats and proteins, they are used for energy production. In case of lipids, they are converted into fatty acids, whereas proteins are converted into amino acids. Fatty acids and amino acids are converted into acetyl CoA, and energy is obtained through complete oxidation of acetyl CoA by the process of Krebs cycle in mitochondria. So see here, it is the same process. Now, as we saw, see through a schematic diagram over here. Now see carbohydrates. From this we are getting the glucose. So what will happen? Glycolysis, as we seen earlier, glycolysis takes place. Then what is formed in glycolysis? Pyruvic acid is formed. From pyruvic acid, what we are getting? The acetyl coenzyme A. This enters the Krebs cycle, that is in mitochondria we seen earlier. And then you get CO2 plus H2O plus energy, that is ATP molecules are formed. So this is from carbohydrates. Now, if carbohydrates are not available, so here you will take from proteins. Proteins they from amino acids. From amino acid, acetyl CoA is formed, and this process continues as it is. The Krebs cycle and energy is given out, that is ATP molecules. In case of lipids, they will form fatty acids. From fatty acids, acetyl coenzyme is formed, and again the process of acetyl CoA cycle and then release of energy takes place. So this is how you will remember. From carbohydrates, glycolysis takes place. We have studied in detail. Glycolysis, what is formed? Pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid forms acetyl CoA. From acetyl CoA will enter the mitochondria there. It will go on with the Krebs cycle, and then the electron transport system, and finally you will get CO2, H2O is given, and ATP molecules are released. When it is not oxidation of glucose, always remember 38 ATP molecules are formed. Here, when in case of fasting or hunger, when the instant energy, I mean the carbohydrates are not available, it will depend on protein and lipids. Proteins they form amino acids will form acetyl CoA, and the remaining portion will remain same. The cycle will go on. Here also lipids will form fatty acids will form again acetyl CoA enzyme, again it will go into the mitochondria Krebs cycle, and this is how ATP is formed. So in the absence of carbohydrates also, lipids and proteins, they are utilized. Now introduction to scientists. Process of glycolysis was discovered by three scientists, Gustav Emden, Otto Meyerhoff and Jacob Parnas along with their colleagues. For this purpose they performed experiments on muscles. Hence glycolysis is also called as Emden-Meyerhoff Parnas pathway, EMP pathway. That EMP pathway, that glycolysis is also known as EMP pathway, and it is named after the founders who have done or who have experimented. Now the cyclical reaction of tricarboxylic acid cycle was discovered by Sir Hans Krabbe. So Sir Hans Krabbe found that tricarboxylic acid cycle, that is why it is also known as Krebs cycle. So it is named after its founder, or you can say who discovered. Hence the cyclical process is also called as Krebs cycle. He has been awarded the Nobel Prize in 1953 for his discovery. So for his discovery he was awarded the Nobel Prize. Now see, this was aerobic respiration in case of when oxygen is there. Now for anaerobic conditions, when oxygen is when in absence of oxygen, you will find how it takes place. Now see, glucose, it will form glycolysis the same way, pyruvic acid, but then the fermentation takes place. Now we'll see there further energy production in microorganisms through an anaerobic process. Some organisms cannot live in presence of oxygen. So in presence of oxygen they cannot live. So many free bacteria, living organisms, such living organisms have to perform anaerobic respiration for energy production. Now they have to perform anaerobic respiration in absence of oxygen. So glycolysis and fermentation, there are two steps of anaerobic respiration. Glycolysis and fermentation takes place. There we have Krebs cycle and electron transport system. Glucose is incompletely oxidized and less amount of energy is obtained in this type of respiration. So in this type of respiration, glucose is not completely oxidized. Now our previous cycle in aerobic respiration, glucose is completely oxidized. So here it is not oxidized completely in anaerobic respiration. Pyruvic acid produced through glycolysis is converted into organic acids or alcohol with the help of some enzymes. And this process is called as fermentation. Now after pyruvic acid is formed, that pyruvic acid is not formed in acetyl-CoA. With the help of some enzyme it is formed into organic acids or some alcohol, and that process is known as fermentation. Now further, some higher plants, animals and aerobic microorganisms also perform anaerobic respiration instead of aerobic if there is depletion in oxygen level in the surrounding. Now see, higher level also animals, those who do by aerobic respiration, if they suppose they feel that in the environment if oxygen levels are depleted, then their cells will carry out this anaerobic respiration in absence of oxygen. So example, seeds perform anaerobic respiration if the soil is submerged under water during germination. Now during germination, how the seeds will get energy? So that time they are submerged in water, so oxygen is not available, so that time they will carry out by anaerobic respiration. Similarly, our muscle cells also perform anaerobic respiration while performing the exercises. Due to this, less amount of energy is produced in our body. So when we do exercise, that time less amount of energy is produced and your hand starts paining. That is because of the lactic acid that is formed. That is the incomplete combustion. As I told you earlier, their acetyl-CoA is not formed here. So their organic acids or alcohol is formed. That process is known as fermentation. So this is how, if you see on page number 15, you will see there they have given the schematic diagram for that also. Fermentation and different products like vinegar, vitamins, etc. are formed by various microbes. That is done by various microbes. Then in yeast you will have fermentation and then alcohol is formed. Then erythrocytes or muscle cells, if you see, in those lactic acid is formed. In yeast what you will see? Alcohol is formed, the fermentation, after fermentation. In our muscles and all, lactic acid is formed. And you will see in various microbes, you will see fermentation is taking place and different products like vinegars, vitamins, etc. are formed. So I hope you have understood this, how the cellular respiration takes place. So do read the chapter. Thank you.